What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? What up? What up? We live. We live a little early today. What's up? What's up, y'all? Give me 1 second. I'm about to just get my Instagram story post up right quick. Okay, here. What up? What up, VidPro? What up? What up? What up? What's good, family? What's good? What's good? What's good? How y'all been today? How y'all been doing today? Let me get this post up real quick. Get that. Hold on. Get that. All right, we good. And we good. What up, y'all? We about to break down Jalen Brunson. We breaking down Jalen Brunson today. I'm gonna let y'all know the landscape for the next few weeks, and then also how things are gonna look like during the regular season. The preseason started. Family, hold on. The preseason started. Who y'all got winning the chip? I need finals predictions right now. Before the first regular season game, I need finals predictions right quick. I need finals predictions right quick. And before you make your predictions, remember the Celtics don't got Tatum. They just traded Porzingis and they traded Holiday, right? And so the Pacers, Halliburton gone. So the East is like wide open. If the Sixers aren't like the talent that they have. If the Sixers aren't the talent that they have, I ain't gonna lie. Or if they are, they'll probably win the East. But I can't put my money on them. I cannot. Rockets, Grizz. I don't care about the other teams. There's no way you think the Grizzlies are going to do anything, especially since they just traded Desmond Bane to Orlando, which is my team. I ain't gonna lie. Out the East, if I'm gonna keep it a bean, the Rockets, the top four teams in the West, in my opinion, Denver. I think Denver might come out the West. Denver got a lot better, and I don't think y'all realize how much better Denver got. Denver exchanged Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. That in itself is okay. You already got a high level shooter still, and he could play defense. So you exchange that, and then you add in Bruce Brown, and then you got Valanciunas. They made some moves. Y'all gotta watch out. Houston, okay, it looks cool with KD, but like I don't think they're stopping Jokic. Jokic with Bruce Brown, and now he got Cam Johnson. And it's not like he's a defensive liability, like he could guard. It's gonna be tough. So I think Denver might come out the East, but or out the West. I'm tweaking Denver, but the other good teams, of course, OKC, stay still good. The Lakers, you never know what Luka could do. Luka and LeBron on the same team, and then they got a decent big in DeAndre Ayton, and they have AR on the side, so you never know. But I won't put my money on them. And then Houston, like they got KD, Thompson, Şengün. It's gonna be tough. I don't know. Şengün gonna have to deal with Jokic, and I don't think he could deal with Jokic. But nonetheless, out the East, Cleveland, Orlando, maybe New York, but that's just about it. Rockets don't have Fred VanVleet though. It's whatever. It's whatever. We'll see. We'll see how Fred VanVleet moving. But nonetheless, let's even talk about we're talking about the Knicks a little bit today. All right, we're talking about the Knicks a little bit today. So we're talking about Jalen Brunson. How many of y'all watching it right now are small guards or play guard? Right? How many of y'all play guard? Because that's honestly like 90% of hoopers. Somebody in the 6'3", 6'2" below range. It's probably a vast majority. Even me, myself, I'm about 6 foot. Right? We're going to break down specifically how Jalen Brunson creates space. Right? And then how to counter somebody that creates space. A lot of people, you probably have not heard this concept before. You haven't seen it broken down before, but we're going to break it down, right? We're going to break it down because a lot of people, because when you see defensive players make high-level plays, there's really a a level of IQ behind it. But a lot of people don't really understand that IQ part. But we're going to understand offense so that we can know how to attack on defense. And that's what we're really going to focus in on today. That's what we're going to focus on today, learning how to take that offense and then switch it over to defense as well. So, yeah, Jalen Brunson. We're going to show. I'm going to show you first video, right? I'm going to show you how he utilizes bumps. Who he utilizes bumps against, the reads that he makes before he uses his bumps, because that's what gets him the space to shoot. But the thing that gets him the space to even be able to possibly shoot is his team. So we're also going to break down like the off-ball looks. And then after that, I'm going to show you the defensive aspect, right? I'm going to show you the defensive aspect of how players are able to almost get a step ahead of Jalen Brunson, and how you could get a step ahead of a player who likes to bump. A lot of players like to use the little shoulder bumps when they get into the paint and air and whatnot. You're going to learn how to counter that today. So let's get the breakdown started. Let's get started, right? So it's a specific matchup, right? Y'all really got to pay attention. What I want y'all to really pay attention to, right? Jalen Brunson is about 6 foot, but one of the best isolation players in the NBA. But notice how efficient he is and why he uses the moves that he uses. Everybody knows Jalen Brunson likes to get physical and use contact and bump off, but pay attention at the times that when he does it, right? Pay attention at the times that he does it. So you got the Knicks in transition, first play right here. Pay attention, right? Jalen Brunson gets the ball. Notice the floor right now, right? I want you to notice where everybody is. This is what patience looks like. Brunson is reading the floor. He's reading everything. He realizes Bridges in the paint, Hart in the paint, Cat in the paint, and Anunoby weak side, right? He sees all of that. So what does Jalen Brunson do, right? He waits. He waits, right? He lets the space develop. He lets people get where they need to before he decides to go, like you're seeing about to do right now. And now notice his matchup. This is what I want to talk about. The matchup. Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is another what? Guard, right? And Terry Rozier now being another guard, what is Jalen Brunson now going to get into? He gets into the space that he has at the free throw line and he bumps him, right? You'll see Jalen Brunson doesn't like to bump bigs because bigs are bigs, and that's not his advantage. But when he has a guard like Rozier, and yes, he did miss that shot. When he has a guard like Rozier, he could bump him and actually create space, because that's how he could create space against someone of that size, right? So continue to notice. I just want you to pay attention. Now he has Dennis Schroeder on him, right? Right, Dennis Schroeder. You see the floor is spaced, right? Understand, floor is spaced. Mikal Bridges, one pass away over here, right? Mikal Bridges over here. So, right, Cam Johnson right here, he can't really help for real. And Anunoby weak side, boom, you got the bigs in the move down. Strong side corner don't really help, but pay attention to what Jalen Brunson does, right? Gets middle, not too much help. Dennis Schroeder keeps going, patience, fades. He gets physical when you got a smaller defender. Notice how physical he gets with Schroeder, right? Goes left, has Bridges that side, so there's going to be no help. He can use all the room in this area. Physical, bumping the whole time, shoots over the top of those all the time. Why? Because that physicality is able to create separation on a player who is smaller. Continue to watch, right? And I'm going to show you how to counter this. As a defender, how to counter it, right? Notice, Jalen Brunson again ends up getting the switch here onto Jalen Suggs. Now with Jalen Suggs, pay attention to the spacing, right? Pay attention to the spacing. Notice what he did with Josh Hart. That's the most important part. That's all he's waiting for. That first play, seen him wait for everybody because it was transition. Now this play, all he has to wait for Josh Hart to do is get himself down in this area. And the second that he does, now he could go. Timing, right? Timing. So now Jalen Brunson goes, bump, right? Boom, drop step, and he's able to get physical, create separation, get his angles, and get his bucket. Why? The matchup. The matchup. Understand. Continue to watch. It's not like it's just a few plays. It's literally, I watched 355 clips, right? 355. Now he has KCP. Pay attention. And even notice the switch. A lot of y'all be like, what the heck? Notice who he's getting the switch off of. He's going from 12 here to KCP. KCP is known as a defender. But the second that he gets KCP, understand what happens now. Since KCP is a good defender, he's now just going to guard by himself and there's not going to be as much help. But if KCP is off the ball, he's now also going to help to guard Jalen Brunson. So when it comes down to this, he clears it out and just attacks KCP straight on. So now he's just able to walk down, bump, like I just told you, against any guard or wing of similar frame and stature, right? Someone who's at least somewhat quick enough to stay in front of him, he's going to go to his bumps. Because at their size, if they have enough speed to somewhat stay in front of him, he's going to go bump and shoot over the top every time, right? So now let's keep going. Keep going. Damian Lillard now. Damian Lillard. Now, pay attention what time it is, right? Pay attention. End the clock. End the clock right here. Boom. 12.5 left, right? You see that, right? 12.5. Going against Dame, right? Push cross right here, patience. Notice how he's going to actually get to his spot. Notice how he gets to his spot. Damian Lillard, walk down, bump separation. Guard, same thing every time. Because this gap of space that he created right here, at Dame size or any guard size, you can't close up that gap. And mind you, he's also learned how to shoot over bigger players. So good luck stopping that shot, right? So boom, step back right there, shot, bucket every time. Pay attention. De'Aaron Fox, right? End of quarter. Even understand what's transpiring on this other side too, right? He has Malik Monk who's still over here trying to stack up. But nonetheless, watch, right? The way he gets to separation, the way he's able to get here, bump, spin away from Malik Monk. Low-key got fouled. Don't pay too much attention about it. But bump against De'Aaron Fox, right? Just continue to notice. He has the sumo on him, right? Notice. End of quarter. Let's go back. End of quarter. Got to get your spacing, right? Got to get people organized. Got to get things situated, right? Even when the screen comes up, nope, clear it out, reject it. Now he's going to continue to attack this matchup, and what does he do to get to his spot? Walk him down, bump, get to his spot, fade, bucket, right? Notice it's going to continue to happen. Strus not set. This is also a great time that you can use contact. This is a great time, right? Anytime you see a defender who's looking like this, not set, who's not actually ready to guard you, that means when you end up going to attack, right, they're already not going to be in their defensive base, meaning that their ability to regain balance if hit is going to be tougher. So now what does that show you as a player, right? What does that show you, right? I could simply get into this attack here. He loves to fake that handoff, and that bump right there could be able to get a separation. Shot. That's an opportunity you got to pay attention for, because defenders who are not set are the most vulnerable because they're most susceptible to losing their balance. And then now when they lose their balance from a bump, you can now create your space. Pay attention to those situations. Now, Ja Morant got another guard, right? Just notice the trend. You got to understand this is a trend. This is why he stays efficient, right? Walking him down, goes to his right side, notice, bump, separation. Jaren Jackson Jr. did not phase him at all. Did not phase him, right? Although Jaren Jackson Jr., right, is loaded up in help. It didn't matter, right? Pay attention. Because you get the switch. Everybody knows, okay, he got the switch on the Ja. He wants to attack in isolation. But even though literally Jaren Jackson's sitting right here, right next to the nail, Karl Towns is a 40% three-point shooter. He's not even going to try to even make that play because he could get all the space he needs to shoot because this cut that happened from Bridges opened up this elbow area, and now he can just do this. Bump, step back, shot against, guess what? Another guard. But I'm going to show you all the counter. Give it a second. Right here, Gabe Vincent, another guard, right? Another guard. But I also want you to pay attention to his patience and how he utilizes his space, right? I don't want y'all to think, oh, I got a guard, let me go find somewhere and go bump somebody. No, don't do that, right? I want you to pay attention to his patience in the space that he actually uses on every single one of these plays. Has Vanderbilt, better defender, screen happens, right? Understand the spacing at this point in time. You have Karl Towns, strong side corner, right? Braun guarding him. So you know Braun's not going to help. And now you still have Josh Hart who's actively moving. And Vanderbilt's a good defender. So he's going to think automatically, right? He's not going to just switch and forget about Jalen Brunson. He's going to switch and try to roam, right? When I say roam, it's going to look something like this, right? Meaning that he's not just going to run away with Josh Hart. He's going to continue to watch what Jalen Brunson's doing, right? He's going to continue to watch him, right? So he's not following Josh Hart to wherever he goes. He's just going to continue to watch him to clog up lanes, right? He's roaming. So at this point in time, Jalen Brunson's going to go where? Right? To this right side where Braun's not going to help much because remember, he's guarding Cat. And he bumps Gabe Vincent and gets right to that elbow, right? Gets right to that elbow. See it again. Full speed. Full speed right here. Gets the switch, walks him down, gets to this elbow area, doesn't get all the way down to the paint, just gets separation right there because Braun can't help. Vanderbilt's in the paint, and now he's able to get this bucket, right? You got to notice the trend. That's what makes him efficient. Now, another play here. Highsmith, right? Out the corner, right? Pump fake, but you're going to recognize something a little different. I want you to understand this because him right here is big, 7, right? Watch what he does. Watch what he does. That. right there. So now Jalen Brunson's decision making is going to be slightly different because he understands that if he tries to go to the rim, he not only has this player trying to guard him, but he also has Bam down here trying to guard him as well. And so he has Highsmith on him. Remember what I said? Any guard or wing of a similar stature or frame, right? He could just bump and get a separation. So understanding what's going on over here, he's not even going to try to get to the rim. Rather, he's going to do exactly this, which is get to his spots and bump rather than trying to get all the way down, right? Instead of getting all the way to the rim, that bump is another thing as to what you could use if you can't get there. Because remember, it's a smaller guard. It's tough to get there, right? It's tough to get there. So you have to develop ways to be able to get to your shot before you end up running into that help, right? So boom, another play right there. Now Jalen Brunson, Pete, another wing, right? Another wing over here at the top. Notice how he waited. Notice his patience. I just want you to notice his patience, right? This is usually what happens. Since Hart sets a lot of the screens or handoffs for Jalen Brunson, he's always going to stay patient for Josh Hart. Always before he even gets into the space creation. Because the space creation won't matter if there's no space that he could be able to get into. So he's going to wait, right? Josh Hart, right? You see Josh Hart right here. He's a non-shooter. If he stays there, they're going to plug in, right? So Josh Hart's usually always going to move when he's off the ball. Ends up moving down, relocating. Now this gives Jalen Brunson a lot more room to operate with, right? You have a loaded help defender here, but now you have an empty side on this way, right? So pay attention. Where does Jalen Brunson go? What does he end up doing, right? Leading to that space that Josh Hart created, so now he can get to that space in that paint and get that float, right? He utilizes space, and mind you, he still bumped on the spin. Bump and spin, right? Against another player who's a guard or a wing and is able to get to his spot, right? And now what I want to show you is how to counter, right? This is how you counter those bumps. Because pay attention, right? The trend that we just caught, the thing that we caught between all those plays is that Jalen Brunson with a certain matchup likes to use that bump, right? And he likes to use it in the same ranges, right? In that maybe like 10 feet to 18 feet area, that mid-range area, right? He loves to use it then. But what a smart defender is now going to do, right? I want y'all to understand this. What a smart defender is now going to do, understanding what we just caught, is be able to say, okay, this is when he likes to get to his spots. This is when he likes to bump. Let me not let him get his rhythm and let him bump me every single time and play into his game. Let me be one step ahead and play chess, not checkers. Right? So what you're about to see is that a lot of players are going to be able to catch that. And if y'all are able to catch that too, right? As an offensive player, knowing when to bump, then as a defensive player, flipping it, you're going to be really good and you're going to become a two-way player, right? Watch. Pay attention. He has Cody Martin on him. Remember, this is another wing, right? He drives, right? Tries to bump, but he can't get nothing, right? Notice what Cody Martin did. It's the little things, right? Off the drive. Notice how he ran away. Notice he gets here, boom, pulls his arms back, pulls everything back, doesn't make sure he can't get no bump and no contact, right? He ends up floating Brandon Miller. That's another thing. But notice what the on-ball defender is going to do, right? Notice what the on-ball defender is going to do. This right here is a great play from Mo Wagner. This is a big, right? He's a big. Watch what's going to end up happening, right? Jalen Brunson gets the switch. Mo Wagner knows, of course, he's going to attack him. So watch what happens off this drive. Speed advantage, right? Notice the change of pace. It was a great change of pace to get by. Make a first move, right? Boom. In and out. Fakes that. Watch Mo Wagner. Nope. Even on the pump fake. Nope. Can't get it, right? Understand. I want you to understand another aspect that you probably missed out on this play too, right? Because the second that he ends up getting the switch, right? The Magic have a good defender down here in the paint. Notice, right? Jonathan Isaac right there, who's off the ball and is still watching when the switch ends up occurring with Jalen Brunson and Mo Wagner, right? So when Jalen Brunson ends up getting to the side, what does he also end up being able to read? That when he drives, his eyes stay up. Who's in the paint, right? Jonathan Isaac. And who's on him? He got a big, right? So he's not going to be able to finish at the rim. So he's going to have to stop short in this area somewhat. And so now understanding that, even as a defender, just making reads on movement, right? Mo Wagner and you as a player even could be able to catch this. Where if someone tries to bait you into contact, right? On the initial play, right? Even on the first one, tries to bait you into contact here, can't get it, right? Backs away. Then he tries to pump fake, stops it short, and then he tries to float it, and he can't float it. Now, Cat is able to crash the glass because Isaac went over, but nonetheless, notice how he avoided that contact in the exact ranges that Jalen Brunson loves to get contact in. And all players really in reality love to get contact in. Even SGA loves to get contact in those same ranges. So this is really how you counter all those type of players, right? DeJounte Murray, great on-ball defender. Watch what he's going to end up doing, right? He gets beat. You see him get beat, right? Watch what he ends up doing. Boom. Mind you, boom, gets beat right here. Watch what he does. You see this space that he made, that is right here between him and Brunson? You see that space right there? The way that Jalen Brunson creates space is by making sure that the space that he has in between his defender, that if there's that much space, they are dislodged. They are not balanced. So what Jalen Brunson's going to try to do is close it up so he can get Murray off balance and he can't contest him. But what Murray's going to do is leave it there and not allow Jalen Brunson to be able to create that contact. Watch. Pay attention. He's going to try to get there and he can't. He just maintains that space between him and Jalen Brunson, so now he's able to use his arms and make a play on the ball, right? The space doesn't go anywhere, right? Tries to low rip through foul bait there. Murray doesn't try to cut him off, and now he uses his length, keeps that hand high. You literally see his hand held up high. Literally see that hand held high. He didn't try to cut him off. Rather, he just tried to get back in front of the ball, right? Try to get back in front of the ball, beat him to a spot, and now notice what he's now able to do. Right there. Boom. Now they're able to get CJ McCollum is able to get that block, right? Now OKC. We're going to do a whole breakdown right after this on OKC and how they guarded Jalen Brunson on the same thing, right? So now pay attention. SGA, right? It's another situation. He gets beat, and even when he gets beat, right? Notice how SGA is going to recover on this because Jalen Brunson's always going to read the help, right? He's always going to read the help. This is a slightly different play where he doesn't necessarily exactly avoid the contact. He reads J-Dub, float. SGA goes around, utilizes length, boom, is able to get the block from around the side, right? And so notice these few other plays too, right? These are going to be even better examples. Pay attention. Cason Wallace, this is amazing defense. Notice how he plays spots, right? He doesn't try to just run up onto his hip and just push him off in a certain direction. He's going to literally beat him to a spot, cut him off, and then beat him to another spot and avoid contact, right? And just stay legal as a defender. Watch. First move, all right, you're probably like, okay, he may be fried, but watch the recovery. Nope, backs up, no bump. Boom, hezzy, fake spin, tries to get contact, runs away, misses. That's amazing defense. I don't think y'all realize how great defense that is. I don't think y'all realize, like, that's probably like elite recovery. Like, that's probably top tier, where you got shook on the first move and then you had to recover the entire way back, right? Because this right here, it's really off of that second move, that first go move in reality, right? Notice, goes left, gets beat, snatch. Notice the direction that he moves in. He's going to end up moving backwards, right? This is the avoiding contact part I'm telling y'all about, right? Because if he decided to go right here, that's going to be a foul. But Cason Wallace goes this way, right? He went that way. And so now notice what happens. Jalen Brunson tries to get there. Boom. Be into the spot. Change the direction. Now he got hit with that half spin. And even then, Jalen Brunson got more separation. But now watch what Wallace does, right? Again, he's going to play angles. If he decides to go straight up right here into Jalen Brunson's line, Brunson's going to come in, bump, foul. But notice how Wallace is going to literally just drop back. Watch. This is amazing defense. He literally tried to drop that shoulder and bump, but he couldn't. Watch, look, that shoulder right there. He couldn't get him because he still went back. He just went back. That's how you avoid those bumps and prevent people from being able to get that separation on you. Notice, Lou Dort's about to do the same thing, I believe, on this play, right? Over here in the zone, right? Speed it up. Hold on, right here, right? Pay attention. Watch what Lou Dort does. Watch what Lou Dort does. Off a closeout, right? He's helping here. Swing, closeout, attacks. Now, at this point, you know Jalen Brunson's reading the help. You know Jalen Brunson's reading the help. He knows he's there, so he's going to have to stop short in this range and get something off because he can't finish at the rim. So what is he going to do instead, right? Jalen Brunson, seeing he's going to end up kind of turning over to this side, he's able to see Lou Dort out his peripheral, and notice what Lou Dort does, right? He runs away. Jalen Brunson tried to cut off to that left side and get contact, but Lou Dort ran away. Watch. Look, he sees the help, tries to go left, get into his body. Lou Dort just runs off. And now he misses that shot because he anticipated contact and there being a foul, but it wasn't there. So it literally threw off his whole approach and his whole way of attack, right? So boom, another miss right there, right? Another time here by OKC, right? Boom, gets by Shea right there. SGA pulled the chair. Literally pulled the chair. Watch. This is the little things. I'm literally gonna break down the rest of this game too, right? Right after this, not this game, but also another game they played with OKC, right? So pay attention, right? So boom, he makes that first move. SJ right here pulls the chair, and now Jalen Brunson just falls down, tries to get a bump, can't get a bump because the person he was guarding knew when he was trying to get a bump. He just simply couldn't bump him. Simply could not bump him. Is these plays right here. Andrew Nembhard too. Fantastic job. It's the same concept, right? Remember, he has a guard on him. What does he love to do? Get contact. And so, boom, right here, Nembhard gets beat. He has to open up his base a little bit, right? So what Nembhard's going to do now, understanding Jalen Brunson's game, watch. Pull the chair. Pull the chair, man. I'm trying to tell you, like, this is when you know where someone likes to get to their spots, when you know where they like to initiate contact, and then you take that contact away by running away from them, this is what happens. They get off balance and literally can't do anything. They could try to complain for a foul, but it's not a foul, right? They just literally got. They literally got. Another situation here with Darius Garland, similar, where Jalen Brunson doesn't seek the contact. And notice what happens with Darius Garland, right? Boom, he's able to get past him, doesn't get no contact in that area, and Garland's able to block him. So the key between all those plays is that as a defender, you maintain your balance by maintaining your gap in your range, avoiding the contact and not allowing them to get you off balance so that you could actually be able to make a play on the ball. Or you could even not even just make a play on the ball, be in good positioning, throw off their balance while they try to get something off. Right? This is a high level IQ stuff when it comes to basketball where you could truly become a two-way player, offense and defense. And if you do have that desire, if you do really want to learn the game in that manner, I literally coach this. I'll show you exactly how to approach the game so you can be able to see it for yourself. How to watch film and be able to catch this for yourself. How to be able to understand when you know an offensive principle and be able to flip it to the other side so you know a defensive principle and you're a step ahead of the people that you're going against. Because you know all the offensive tricks, but now you know the counters as a defender. It's all the little things. And so if you're really locked in, you really want to grow and get better and improve in basketball, hit the link in the description, join, and I'll coach you. I literally have a whole film database, basically. A basketball library being built on all concepts just like this. So that you could be able to know how to play the game, how to approach the game, and be able to counter, make these counters, and ultimately what your goal is, right? Whether it's to play D1, whether it's to get the play pro one day, whether it's to make it this place, it'll all be done, but you lack this. You lack the mental part, right? And so all this is the mental side of basketball. If you lack the mental side of basketball, you're not going to be able to reach that college level or that pro level unless you're just naturally gifted and talented. And even then, your natural gifts and talents are going to run out. So if you're already one of those players who are behind the ball in athleticism, height, and whatever it might be, you need to learn how to use this so that now when you use your body, you can now use it to its highest level. You could play with wisdom and not just play from a place of flipping a coin. It's a different game when you have wisdom versus flipping a coin, just going out there and hooping, right? And you can be able to get to these certain levels. You can be able to play pro, but you have to learn how to use your mind. If you want to learn how to use your mind, I'll coach you. Hit the link in the description. I'll literally break down your film even too, and you'll literally hit that level. You'll triple your scoring average. I promise you. Then people who quadrupled 5x their scoring average, just learning how to use their mind. Basketball is a mind game more than it's a physical game. So, with that said, we're about to move on to the OKC breakdown. I'm going to pull up the OKC breakdown. We're going to get started with that. Where is it? Right here. Versus OKC. Versus OKC. We got some plays. This is just, I just want to go through some things that kind of tie into what we're kind of just doing, right? Just using wisdom in isolation. Right? Just using wisdom in isolation. A lot of people don't really grasp in this concept, right? A lot of people don't really understand this. But it's important that you choose your matchups wisely, right? And specifically for teams, right? You got to when you play certain teams, it requires humility because you can't play the way that you like to play, and rather you have to adjust according to your matchup. And if you really like to get buckets and play in isolation, for example, doing that against a team like OKC is not the way. It's not the way. And so what you're going to see here, right, is when isolation is not actually going to be your best friend. Regardless if you're one of the best isolation players like Jalen Brunson is, it may not be your best friend because you have to understand who you're going against, right? And if you do want to use isolation, it has to be patterned and hidden in a certain way, right? Like we've seen in the Celtics breakdown I did, it's going to be similar to that, but it's important. I want to break down the mental part, the mental aspect of these things, right? So understand, right? Brunson, first play here. Notice who he's going to end up getting a switch onto and going in isolation against, right? J-Dub, right? J-Dub is a all-defensive second-team player. This in an isolation, especially when you got players off the ball like Casey Wallace, who's a great defender, Lou Dort, who knows how to play defense, Isaiah Hartenstein, who knows how to play defense. Not a great defender, but knows how to play defense. But you have two great defenders on this side as well, who are going to know how to play off the ball and rotate. Then you have a great on-ball defender in J-Dub who's on the ball, like 7'2" wingspan at 6'7", can move his feet, mobile. This is tough, right? So Jalen Brunson decides to attack him in isolation, right? Shot there, bricks it. Right? That's not the matchup. Then you have SGA on the floor as well. And I'll notice again, who is he going to end up attacking, right? I know you may like to get your screens and switches from Cat, right? But this matchup, when you get a switch from onto Cat's defender, is J-Dub. And now he ends up having J-Dub on him. And now he ends up trying to go into this attack in this isolation. Hits a couple solid moves that might have looked like it's something, but look where J-Dub is when the shot happens. Recovery. All defensive second teamer, right? So now, boom, he misses again. And so when it comes down to these type of isolations, you have to pattern them in the midst of a play a certain way, like you're about to see him do right here, right? You saw how he got the switch, right? Everybody was able to see. They knew explicitly he was going to go and attack, right? That's not the only time. That's not the only way you could isolate. You could also isolate, by breaking a play, meaning that you're running something and then you see something else and then you break it in half, right? Like this, right? So Jalen Brunson this time coming down in transition. Has Wiggins on him. Notice, right? Boom. Change the pace. Fake that. Fake like he was going to get that drag screen, right? Notice, this is an isolation too. Here. All because everybody doesn't get set and 1-4 flats it, right? Doesn't mean it's not isolation. This is an isolation. And so he uses the dynamics of transition. While his defender's still moving back, not everybody is set to guard, and he has the gravity of Cat, who's coming over here on this trail, right? So when his eyes look this way, and it relaxes his defender, it makes him say, okay, I got to prepare for a screen. But he uses that to his advantage to be able to do what? Reject this and be able to attack to this baseline where SJ can't help all the way to the strong side corner, and he's able to float and end up getting his bucket, right? Boom, he gets his bucket there. And now notice how he's able to do this even against Lou Dort. You just seen Aaron Wiggins, right? Lou Dort, great defender as well. Notice how he's going to pattern this stuff in, right? He's making the play call. Let me move my camera, right? Notice. First and foremost, gets a switch on Lou Dort, right? Communicating, getting people where they need to. Eyes looking middle, right? And I want you to even understand the spacing at this point in time. Understand the spacing, right? Before you about to see him make that go move, right? You got J-Dub hugging the ball. You got Casey Wallace over here, Josh Hart. Weak side, and Anunoby, right? Strong side court, you know they don't help, right? So what's going to end up happening at this point? Watch. Eyes go that way. Look at Lou Dort's frame. Look at where Lou Dort's already moving to. Look at his body positioning. He's literally leaning to this side, anticipating the screen. So by him leveraging his other teammates and their gravity, he's able to get his defenders to get their eyes off of just him and him alone. Because now when you get someone split and double-minded as a defender, it makes it so much harder to guard you when you make an attack. Because they're thinking about getting through something else and having to do another thing, right? And so now pay attention. Jalen Brunson goes here. Boom, push cross. Now he's able to actually bump, stop, get to his spot, and fade off of that, and is able to get his bucket, right? And that's just simply by him using the gravity of his teammates. But understand, you cannot go back to your vomit. What doesn't work, right? It's like it says, Proverbs 26 says something about how dogs go back to their vomit. When as a basketball player, going back to your vomit, that looks like you doing the things that didn't work because you did something that worked and you want to try to do something that didn't work beforehand. And you just should know that it's not going to work, right? So as a player, right, what do you have to do? Or what's going to end up happening in this situation, right? Notice, this is literally, I think, 1 minute later, right? I want you to peep the clock, right? That bucket just happened 6:08. That other bucket we just watched, right, ended up happening at 7 minutes. So at 7 minutes, then at about 6:08, that bucket, and now 5:40. These are all like right back to back possessions, right? So understand, now this next time happens, he clears out Josh Hart, he gets a screen from Cat, and this is what it looks like to go back to your vomit. Like I just told y'all, Proverbs 26, right? Don't be like a dog that goes back to their vomit. And so what ends up happening, of course, is that he got a matchup that's not it. He tries to ISO like he did before and takes a tough shot and misses it. You got to continuously do what is good, right? Continuously do what is working. And don't try to force anything, especially against a team like OKC, where you stack up, or any team that's good at playing team defense, where people are able to stack up, close up areas, right? They all see the ball. They all see what's going on, right? They all know what they're doing. They all know how to play defense. You can't just play into that. Right, so he ends up trying to do this against J-Dub, 0 for 3 against J-Dub, right? He's got to blend those plays in. And so now, understanding OKC even as a team, this is another regular season game that they played against them. Another regular season game, right? And so now even notice how they're able to game plan against Jalen Brunson, specifically taking away his mid-range game, right? It's very hard to see this. It's very hard to catch, right? But like I said in the first breakdown, when you really watch a player and know what they do, you know how to counter it. Because when they get to the spot, you're going to do the opposite of what other people do. And that's what OKC is going to do between these plays. Pay attention. It's the whole team, the whole game, right? So now Jalen Brunson here with SGA, right? Notice, understand, when Jalen Brunson makes these moves, right, he loves when he sees help defenders, right? When he sees the help step over, Case and Wallace right here, right? You have SGA on the ball. Strong side, you know it's not going to help. When he sees someone step over, he's going to get into contact. He's going to bump, right? But watch SGA in this situation. He's not going to try to cut Jalen Brunson off here or just ride his hip as a defender. What he's going to end up doing is maintaining space, not letting that bump happen and leading Jalen Brunson, right, to falling on the floor because he pulled the chair, right? So now, boom, he's just stuck. And mind you, notice how early on the game this is, right? This is literally right at the start of the game, 2 minutes into the game. And notice what's going to happen continuously for the rest of the game, right? They're going to be able to take advantage of this the whole time because they did their homework, right? Y'all got to begin to do your homework. If you're not doing your homework and film and things like, and to do things like this, it's just going to be hard to succeed in basketball as a whole, right? Pay attention, right? I'm going to show y'all the importance of studying the game, right? So now here, another possession. Isaiah Joe. Let's watch this full speed through one time, right? Loading up. Boom. You know Jalen Brunson's game. You know what he loves to get into when he gets into the lane. Not just the bumps, but that low rip through to foul bait you, right? So when Lou Dort, right? When Lou Dort at the top of this possession ends up staying on Jalen Brunson initially, screen happens. Now he's on Josh Hart, right? And now he's going to load up because remember, he's doing their homework, right? Non-shooter right there, right? So I don't have to stay attached. He's going to move all the way over. So now he's got Isaiah Joe on him. He knows Jalen Brunson's going to want to attack. And so where is he going to end up going to? You got SJ loaded up in the strong side. You don't want to kick to Deuce McBride and make that play, right? Because they're going to bait you into that. So what he ends up doing, right? Break into that middle. Lou Dort loads up, forgets about Josh Hart. And when he wants to get to his low rip through, watch Lou Dort. Nope, I ain't doing it. He knows his game. He knows what he likes to get into and the ranges that he gets in. This is doing your homework, right? This is doing your homework. Boom, low rip through, gets nothing. And now since he didn't get hit on his arm, he ends up passing the ball up and turning it over, right? Straight like that, right? Understand, continue to notice how they're going to literally just exploit the fact that, exploit his strengths. They're exploiting his strengths by having the counter move to all the moves that he is doing, right? Pay attention. Another possession. This is in the first quarter again, right? Right here in the zone, right? Let me skip a little bit right quick, right? Right here in the zone. Pay attention. When you know what a player's about to do, it's so easy to avoid their strengths and exploit it, right? Jalen Brunson attacks. You know at this point he's reading the help. Help comes and steps over in J-Dub, right? Jalen Williams, right? And so Lou Dort, he's beat. Lou Dort's beat at this point. What defenders usually do is just stay on their side and just try to get back in front and just play like they don't have a brain sometimes, right? But like I said, when you do your homework, this is what you're going to be able to do, right? Lou Dort, when he tries to get contact because he saw the help, he doesn't get into his body, right? When Jalen Brunson tries to cut off left into his frame, into his lane, right? Lou Dort decides to go even more left so that he cannot bump him and get called for a foul. So now, boom, missed shot. Understand. They're locking them up. And that's what's going to happen as a byproduct of you learning the game, of you doing your homework when it comes to playing the game, right? OKC, that's why they won the chip. That's why they're such a good regular season team. They're doing their homework each game. They know how to exploit people's weaknesses and strengths. When have you seen somebody be able to exploit somebody's strength? That's that's really unheard of, right? He exploited their strengths, and that's different. That's not something you could really see. That's rare, right? So when it comes down to playing, y'all got to understand. Y'all got to begin to do your homework. You got to build the mind. You got to build your IQ, right? And so if you lack the IQ, join the community. Join the community. I'm just telling you now, if you take basketball seriously, if you actually want to get better, if you really want to improve, join the community. Coach all throughout the week. I stream once a week, but I coach all throughout the week. Breakdowns all throughout the week. Just did a Drew Holiday defensive breakdown in the community too, right? Little things here too. Boom. I think I literally just dropped this today. Drew Holiday. We about to break down Drew Holiday very soon. Drew Holiday right here. Got a Drew Holiday breakdown in here too. Breaking down Drew Holiday. Right? Breaking down Drew Holiday. Right here. 2018 playoffs against Dame. All this stuff right here. 15 breakdowns we just did. But the regular season about to start, and we're about to get a lot more stuff coming too. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all are locked in. And we're going to be live streaming again next Saturday, 3:30. I don't even know if I'll be able to stream next week. I may stream during the week. I may stream midweek. So y'all better make sure you hit subscribe. Right? Make sure y'all hit subscribe. Turn on your notifications because I won't be able to stream next Saturday. I'm going to be out of town. So I may stream on like Friday evening or something of that nature. Whatever, let me know what time is best for y'all. Whoever be in here locked in, trying to get better and trying to learn and really want to be in the live streams. Whatever time works best for y'all throughout the weekdays. I may post a poll or something. But yeah, I'll probably be live on Friday if anything. Might be live on Friday. So make sure you check your noties. I may be live like Friday evening. We'll see. Depends. I'll let y'all know. Just make sure you got your notifications turned on. So with that said, if you really want to try to get better, join the community. Hit the link in the description. Join up. Trying to help all y'all get better. Help all y'all grow. Accomplish your goals. And until next time, discipline or regret. You choose.